Have you ever wondered what secrets lie beneath the arid expanse of the Four Corners region, where the states of Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Colorado converge? This land, rich with the echoes of ancient footsteps, cradles the remnants of a civilization that flourished and vanished, leaving behind only whispers of its existence. To traverse the Four Corners is to journey into a landscape that seems to breathe with the stories of the past. Towering mesas, rugged canyons, and undulating desert plains create a mosaic that has captivated adventurers and scholars alike. The air here carries an electric charge, a hint of the sacred, as the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows that dance over the ancient stone walls. This is not merely a geographical intersection. It is a tapestry woven with the threads of human endeavor and the enduring spirit of the Anasazi people. The Anasazi, known to many as the Ancient Ones, established their foothold in this breathtaking wilderness around 200 CE. They were not merely nomadic hunters, they transformed the high desert into a cradle of agricultural innovation. Utilizing the seasonal monsoons and intricate irrigation techniques, they coaxed life from the arid soil, cultivating maize, beans, and squash. Their connection to the land was profound, an intimate relationship reflected in their sustainable practices and reverence for the natural world. As you wander through the sandy paths of this region, it's impossible not to be drawn to the monumental vestiges of their creativity. Chaco Canyon, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, stands as a testament to their architectural prowess. Massive stone structures like Pueblo Bonito, with its complex layout and multi-story buildings, reveal a sophisticated understanding of engineering and community planning. These great houses, constructed between 850 and 1150 CE, were not merely homes, but vibrant centers for trade, culture, and spirituality. Imagine bustling markets filled with turquoise jewelry, exquisitely crafted pottery, and the sounds of laughter echoing against the canyon walls. Yet the Anasazi were more than builders. They were also astronomers. As the sun worshipped the horizon, casting divine patterns across the sky, the Anasazi meticulously tracked celestial movements, aligning their structures with the cosmos. Their monumental architecture and the kivas, ceremonial spaces, speak of a civilization deeply intertwined with the rhythms of the universe. The solstices and equinoxes were not mere markers of time. They were sacred events that shaped their agricultural calendar and spiritual rituals. However, all was not serene in this paradise. The land, as nurturing as it was, also held its challenges. From the untamed storms that swept through the canyons to the harsh droughts that parched the earth, the Anasazi had to adapt continually, showcasing their resilience and ingenuity. Archaeological evidence suggests that periods of drought, particularly between 1130 and 1180 CE, strained their resources, pushing communities to the brink of survival. The scars of the land tell stories of desperation and the human struggle against the relentless forces of nature. As the years rolled on, the Anasazi faced not only environmental challenges, but also the specters of conflict and competition. The signs of warfare have been etched into the very fabric of their existence, with archaeological sites revealing evidence of violent encounters. These conflicts, coupled with diminishing resources, led to increasing tensions, forcing communities to reassess their pathways forward. Despite their formidable spirit, the shadows of uncertainty loomed ever larger. Yet it is this very enigma that continues to allure researchers and historians. How could such a vibrant culture, adept at overcoming adversity, simply vanish? As we ponder the fate of the Anasazi, we are drawn back to the essence of the Four Corners itself, a land that holds the keys to understanding both the triumphs and tragedies of those who once called it home. In the Four Corners region, the landscape is more than a witness. It is a keeper of secrets, beckoning us to delve deeper into the mysteries that shroud the Anasazi. Here, amidst the ruins and the remnants, lies not only the story of a people who once thrived, but also a haunting reminder of the fragility of civilization. As the sun sets over the mesas, casting a golden hue upon the ruins, one cannot help but wonder, what tales do these stones yet hold, waiting for a modern-day bard to unravel their silenced voices? In the vast expanse of the Four Corners region, where the sun paints the earth in hues of ochre and rust, there lies a tale that begins far before the advent of stone and mortar. It is a tale woven into the very fabric of the landscape, echoing through the canyons and mesas, whispering of a people who transformed from nomadic wanderers into architects of a complex society, the Anasazi. Picture, if you will, a time over a millennium ago. The horizon stretches endlessly under a sky that seems to cradle the sun, and a gentle breeze carries the sweet scent of sage. Here, the Anasazi began their journey, traversing the arid southwest, gathering wild plants and hunting game, moving with the rhythms of nature. They were not yet the great builders we would come to know, but rather skilled foragers, intimately attuned to the land that nourished them. By observing the seasons, the cycles of the moon, and the dance of the stars, they began to understand the environment in a way that would lay the foundation for their future. As the years rolled on, the Anasazi made a pivotal choice, a choice that would shape their destiny and that of generations to come. They began to settle. The fertile valleys and the banks of rivers became their new homes, and with this transition came a profound transformation. Agriculture took root, quite literally, as they began to cultivate maize, beans, and squash, the three sisters that would sustain them for centuries. The discovery of farming was a revolution. It turned the tides of their existence from transient to permanent. Archaeological evidence found at sites such as Basketmaker II dwellings reveals a fascinating glimpse into this transitional phase. Artifacts of early farming tools, simple digging sticks and woven baskets, speak of a community gradually shifting gears. The Anasazi learned to harness the land's gifts, creating irrigation systems to channel the scarce water from nearby rivers. Their ingenuity turned barren soil into lush gardens, feeding not just their families but also their aspirations. As these seeds of change took root, so too did the complexities of their society. Settling in one place allowed for the formation of more intricate social structures. Villages sprang up characterized by pit houses, circular, subterranean dwellings that offered shelter from the elements. Over time, these humble structures evolved into larger, more sophisticated buildings, setting the stage for the monumental great houses that would define their architectural legacy. One of the most significant sites in this narrative is Chaco Canyon, a remarkable center of Anasazi culture. From around AD 900 to 1150, Chaco flourished, its vast network of roads connecting it to other settlements across the region. Here, the Anasazi constructed grand multi-storied buildings of sandstone, many of which still stand as testaments to their engineering prowess. The great house of Pueblo Bonito, with its impressive size and intricate design, served not only as a residence, but also as a ceremonial space, reflecting the spiritual and communal life of the people. Such structures were not merely functional. They were imbued with meaning and purpose, embodying the aspirations of a society that had risen from the dust of its nomadic past. Yet within this burgeoning society lay the seeds of an enduring mystery. As they grew in numbers and influence, the Anasazi also faced challenges. The very environment that had nurtured them could turn hostile. Droughts, climate fluctuations, and resource scarcity began to loom like shadows over their achievements. These factors would later play a role in their enigmatic disappearance, but for now, they were pioneers, balancing the delicate act of survival against the backdrop of their burgeoning civilization. During this era of growth, the Anasazi's cultural practices also evolved. Their pottery became more elaborate, their artistry more refined, showcasing their deepening connection to the land and each other. Symbols etched into clay tell stories of daily life, rituals, and beliefs, serving as both practical goods and vessels of their identities. In the annals of history, the Anasazi emerged as a people of paradoxes, intimately connected to the land yet driven by an unquenchable thirst for advancement. They were a society rooted in tradition yet constantly evolving. The rise of the Anasazi from nomads to a settled society is a tale of transformation, resilience, and innovation. As the sun sets over the four corners, casting long shadows across ancient stones, one can almost hear their stories carried on the wind, a reminder that within every whisper of the canyon, history lingers, waiting for the curious to listen. In the vast expanse of the Four Corners region, where the sun melts into the horizon and shadows play upon the rugged sandstone cliffs, the Anasazi people carved out a profound existence that danced between the earthly and the ethereal. Their beliefs were steeped in the cycles of nature, a reverence for the spirit of the earth that transcended mere survival. It was a sacred bond with the very landscape that nourished them. At the heart of Anasazi spirituality was a belief system that revered Kashinas, spiritual beings that represented elements of nature and ancestral forces. These entities were not mere figments of imagination. They embodied the Anasazi's understanding of the world. The Kachinas, manifesting in the form of masked dancers during ceremonial rites, became conduits between the human realm and the spiritual world. These rituals were not only performances, but were imbued with the weight of hope, invoking rain for their crops or blessings for their community. Archaeological evidence from sites such as the Great Kiva at Chaco Canyon reveals the intricate spiritual architecture of the Anasazi. This ceremonial hub, with its circular design and central hearth, served as a place for communal gathering and spiritual connection. Here, the people would convene to partake in rituals that honored the Earth Mother and the Sky Father, symbolizing a duality that was central to their cosmology. Walls adorned with petroglyphs depicted the cycle of life, the sacred hunt, and the harvest, illuminating their profound connection to the land. The Anasazi's agricultural practices were deeply entwined with their spiritual life. The cultivation of maize beans and squash, known as the Three Sisters, was considered a sacred duty, an act of reciprocity with the earth. Their farming techniques, including dryland farming and the use of check dams, were not merely practical, but resonated with the belief that the earth was alive, possessing its own spirit. The fertility of the soil was a reflection of the community's harmony with the cosmos. Neglecting this relationship could spell disaster. One of the most enigmatic aspects of Anasazi spirituality was their relationship with the cycles of celestial bodies. Astronomy was not a mere science. It was an integral part of their religious practices. The sun dagger, a natural rock formation at Fajada Butte, illustrates this connection. Here, the sun's rays would shine through a series of stone markers, creating a celestial calendar that dictated the timing of agricultural and ceremonial events. This intersection of the heavens and the earth underscored their belief that the cosmos had a direct influence on their daily lives. As seasons changed, so too did the rituals. The winter solstice marked a time of reflection and renewal, while the summer solstice celebrated abundance and vitality. During these times, the people would gather to perform dances, offer prayers, and share stories, an oral tradition that preserved their history and teachings. The significance of these gatherings extended beyond mere survival. They were a reaffirmation of identity, culture, and an unbroken connection to their ancestors. Yet, woven into this rich tapestry of belief was an undercurrent of uncertainty. The historical narrative of the Anasazi is punctuated by mysterious events, including climate fluctuations and societal changes that led to their eventual disappearance. As droughts ravaged their lands and resources dwindled, the spiritual practices that once flourished began to falter. The rituals that had once sustained them became fraught with desperation. their prayers echoing against a harsh backdrop of environmental strife. In examining archaeological sites, such as Mesa Verde, one cannot help but feel the weight of the unanswered questions that linger in the ruins of their once thriving communities. The cliff dwellings, with their intimate proximity to the sky, offer a haunting glimpse into a world where spirituality and survival were intricately linked. Here, the echoes of ancient ceremonies seem to whisper through time, carrying with them the longing for understanding. The Anasazi's disappearance may remain an enigma, yet the spirit of their beliefs lingers on. Their reverence for the earth, the cosmos, and the interconnectedness of life continues to resonate with modern descendants and scholars alike. As we seek to understand their legacy, we unravel not just the threads of their past, but the enduring mystery of what it means to be human in a world that is both beautiful and unforgiving, a world where the spirit of the earth still calls to us, inviting us to listen closely to its ancient songs. In the heart of the arid landscape of northwestern New Mexico, where the sun bleeds crimson into the horizon, lies Chaco Canyon, a crucible of ancient civilization and architectural grandeur. From the moment one steps into this storied land, the air hums with the echoes of a time long past. Whispers of the Anasazi, who once flourished here, carving their dreams into the stone and dust of the earth. The majestic great houses of Chaco stand as sentinels to their ingenuity, a testament to a people who wove their existence into the very fabric of the canyons, creating an intricate tapestry of culture that continues to captivate the curious mind. As we traverse the remnants of this ancient metropolis, we are drawn to Pueblo Bonito, one of the largest and most iconic structures within the canyon. Its sprawling layout, composed of more than 600 rooms and multiple stories, beckons the imagination. Built around AD 900, the Great House features intricate masonry and a unique design that starkly contrasts with the surrounding arid landscape. Each stone, meticulously placed, tells a story of labor, collaboration, and an uncanny understanding of the Earth's resources. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of great kivas, ceremonial structures that suggest a society deeply attuned to spirituality, where the line between the material and the ethereal blurred beneath the weight of the stars. In the shadow of these towering edifices, one cannot help but ponder the visionaries who conceived these architectural marvels. Figures like Dr. Earl Morris, an early 20th century archaeologist, played a pivotal role in unearthing the secrets of these ruins. His excavations in the 1920s revealed not only the grandeur of these great houses, but also a complex society that engaged in extensive trade networks, exchanging turquoise pottery and other goods with distant regions, an early testament to the interconnectedness of human experience. The artifacts recovered from these sites hint at a culture rich in artistry and tradition, revealing decorated pottery that is nothing short of poetic in its form. But what of the design itself? The layout of Chaco Canyon is no mere accident of geography. It reflects a sophisticated understanding of celestial alignments. The great houses are oriented with precision, aligning with the rising and setting of the sun and moon. Scholars have long speculated that the Anasazi were keen astronomers, using their architectural designs to track the rhythms of the cosmos. Could it be that the very layout of these structures served a dual purpose? Not only as living quarters, but as observatories, a means to connect the earthly with the divine. The very question sends shivers down the spine, offering a glimpse into the intricate relationship between the Anasazi and their environment. Yet, within the splendor of these great houses lies a more melancholic narrative, the specter of abandonment. By the late 12th century, Chaco Canyon, once a thriving hub of innovation and spirituality, began to wane. The great houses stood empty, their walls echoing the laughter of children and the chants of rituals that no longer resonated in the cold air. The reasons for this decline remain shrouded in mystery. Was it the great drought that swept across the region, straining the resources of a once flourishing civilization? Or were there deeper fractures within their society, conflicts that tore at the seams of community? These questions linger like the dust swirling in the canyon's wind, each gust a reminder of the stories untold. The archaeological record offers tantalizing clues, fragments of lives lived and lost. Yet, it cannot provide all the answers. As we wander through the remains of these great houses, we are compelled to confront not only the ingenuity of the Anasazi, but also the fragility of civilization itself. In this land of stone and sky, where the past remains palpably present, we find ourselves grappling with the complexities of human existence, our aspirations, our achievements, and our inevitable decline. Chaco Canyon, with its great houses and enduring mysteries, beckons the seeker of knowledge to delve deeper into the enigma of the Anasazi. It serves as a powerful reminder of our connection to the past, urging us to listen closely to the whispers of those who came before us. In this sacred space where history and myth intertwine, the legacy of the Anasazi continues to endure, inviting us to unravel the threads of their existence, one great house at a time. In the high deserts of the Four Corners region, a captivating tapestry of culture was woven by the hands of the Anasazi. They flourished in this arid land, leaving behind a legacy that would baffle historians and archaeologists alike. Among the remnants of their society, the artifacts and pottery stand as poignant echoes of a civilization that thrived and eventually vanished, an enigma wrapped in the clay of their existence. Pottery, perhaps the most intimate witness to the daily lives of the Anasazi, reveals a wealth of knowledge about their society. Archaeological sites, such as the majestic cliff palace in Mesa Verde and the structured grid of Chaco Canyon, serve as storied backdrops to this vibrant culture. Each vessel, bowl, and shard of ceramic tells a tale of innovation and artistry, intricately decorated and meticulously crafted. This artistry was not merely decorative, it served as a crucial aspect of their identity, a mirror reflecting their beliefs, aspirations, and environment. The Anasazi potters, predominantly women, employed techniques passed down through generations. As these skilled artisans kneaded the earth, they blended clay with tempering agents, shards of rock, crushed pottery, and even organic materials to create a strong and workable medium. Their hands would shape the clay into forms that were both functional and symbolic. The polished and painted surfaces of their pottery displayed a remarkable variety of colors and designs, ranging from intricate geometric patterns to depictions of the natural world, echoing the flora and fauna that surrounded them. Among the most iconic artifacts are the black-on-white and red-on-buff pottery styles, which emerged around 900 CE. The black-on-white pottery, with its striking contrast and detailed line work, was often used for ceremonial purposes and is believed to have held spiritual significance. The red-on-buff shouldered a more utilitarian role, serving as everyday cooking vessels that bore the mark of daily life. These pots, some adorned with effigies and motifs of animals, perhaps symbolized the connection between the Anasazi and the spirits of nature they revered. One cannot speak of Anasazi pottery without mentioning the renowned archaeologist Dr. Richard Wetherill, who, along with his brothers, first uncovered the ancient dwellings of Mesa Verde in the late 19th century. His enthusiasm for the site ignited public interest and laid the groundwork for future excavations. Wetherill's discoveries included not just the grand cliff dwellings, but also countless pottery fragments, each one a clue in the unfolding mystery of the Anasazi. Though he faced criticism for his methods, his passion helped to illuminate the rich narrative embedded in the artifacts. The famed Chaco Canyon, a hub of trade and culture, offered a deeper insight into the Anasazi's artistic endeavors. Here, The great houses housed potters who collaborated and exchanged ideas, leading to the creation of distinctive styles that spread throughout the region. The pottery from Chaco, with its intricate designs and elaborate forms, suggested a sophisticated society with a keen sense of aesthetics. Each piece unearthed from the layers of dust and time reveals the hands that shaped them, the lives they served, and the culture that flourished. Yet, as we marvel at these creations, questions loom like shadows over the sun-baked landscape. What stories lie locked within the vessels? What voices have been silenced, their echoes lost in the winds that sweep through the canyons? In the late 12th century, the pottery ceased to be crafted in the same abundance, a silent testament to the unraveling of their society. The striking decline in both the quantity and quality of pottery coincided with the great drought that plagued the region. Was it the thirst of a parched land that stifled creativity, or did other factors, perhaps social and political upheavals, play a role in this artistic retreat? As modern archaeologists sift through the remnants of Anasazi culture, they are not merely seeking artifacts. They are piecing together a narrative that spans centuries and speaks of both triumph and tragedy. The pottery shards, once serving as vessels for sustenance, are now fragments of a larger puzzle, whispering secrets of a people who thrived before they vanished. The artistry etched into the clay serves as a reminder of their resilience, a culture in bloom that, like the desert wildflowers, flourished for a time but ultimately succumbed to the harshness of their environment. In the quiet moments of dusk, when the sun dips low and the shadows stretch long across the mesa, one can almost hear the distant laughter of children playing beside the hearth, the gentle hum of women crafting pottery, and the stories that flowed like water from the lips of storytellers. The Anasazi may be gone, but their legacy lives on, a haunting reminder of the beauty and fragility of human existence. In the heart of the Four Corners region, where the rugged mesas rise like ancient sentinels against the vast desert sky, the Anasazi people carved their legacy into the land. Their achievements flourished under the sun, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Yet, as the sun's golden rays warmed their adobe structures, darker clouds gathered on the horizon, heralding a great drought that would challenge their very existence. The mid-11th century, a time of burgeoning prosperity, saw the Anasazi communities, those who were masters of agriculture and architecture, begin to experience a profound shift in their environment. The climate, once a nurturing mother, transformed into a capricious deity. Evidence from tree rings indicates a severe and prolonged drought that began around 1130 AD, lasting for decades. It was a time when the rains which had once danced joyously across the arid landscape turned to whispers, leaving the earth parched and the rivers dwindled. Archaeological excavations at sites like Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde reveal the hardships wrought by this environmental calamity. The great kivas, ceremonial structures that once echoed with the sounds of ritual and community, began to feel the weight of despair. Pottery shards scattered across the parched earth tell tales of families who once thrived, now forced to turn their backs on the very homes they built with such love and labor. The Anasazi, revered for their agricultural prowess, found their crops of maize, beans, and squash wilting in the unforgiving sun. What had once been a fertile cradle of civilization now stood as a barren graveyard of dreams. Among the vast ruins of their once great cities, a haunting silence took hold. Families gathered in small groups, their existence reduced to mere survival as they scoured the canyons and arroyos for water. Their response to this relentless drought was not just a retreat from their homelands, but a profound adaptation to the stark realities that surrounded them. Scholars suggest that the Anasazi began to diversify their agricultural practices, shifting from floodplain farming to dryland farming techniques. They innovated methods that would allow them to cultivate the land in the face of diminishing resources, an embodiment of their deep connection to the earth and its cycles. Yet even with these adaptations, the drought tightened its grip. The great ceremonial complexes that dotted the region began to lose their significance as communal gatherings dwindled. The heart of Anasazi society, once beating strong with the rhythm of shared rituals, began to pulse faintly like a distant echo. As the years stretched into decades, the sky remained unyielding, and the very fabric of Anasazi life began to unravel. Not all was resigned surrender, however. There were whispers of desperation and conflict. As resources diminished, tensions rose among neighboring tribes. Archaeological evidence suggests increased fortifications in some regions, hinting at a struggle not only against the elements but also against rival groups competing for dwindling water and arable land. What once united them, their culture, their spirituality, began to fray under the weight of necessity. The stories of their ancestors, once told around flickering fires, transformed into urgent narratives of survival, cautioning against the arrogance of assuming abundance from the earth's bounty. In the face of adversity, the Anasazi's ingenuity shone through. They constructed intricate irrigation systems, channeling precious water from distant sources, a feat that requires both knowledge and skill. The remnants of these earthen canals, still visible today, serve as a testament to their resilience. But as the drought stretched into an endless cycle of despair, these lifelines, too, would eventually run dry. As the 13th century approached, the relentless drought, combined with social pressures and environmental changes, pushed the Anasazi beyond their limits. The once thriving communities began to fracture, and the question echoed like a haunting refrain in the canyons. Where did they go? The great migration that followed remains shrouded in mystery, a puzzle that modern archaeologists strive to piece together. The Anasazi's response to the great drought is not merely a story of survival, it is a narrative woven into the very fabric of their identity. It speaks to the resilience of a people who, faced with the harshest of challenges, sought new beginnings. As the last remnants of their once vibrant civilization faded from the landscape, they left behind an enigma, an unanswered question of disappearance that still captivates the hearts and minds of those who wander the sun-baked lands they once called home. The echoes of their struggle, their adaptability, and their ultimate fate linger in the air, a testament to the enduring spirit of the Anasazi. In the heart of the arid Four Corners region, where the sun casts long shadows over ancient stone and memory, the Anasazi people flourished, crafting a civilization that echoed through time. Yet, as their great houses rose in Chaco Canyon and their intricate pottery adorned the shelves of their cliff dwellings, a darker undercurrent surged, tales of conflict with neighboring tribes that would shape their destiny. The Anasazi, known to many as the Ancient Ones, thrived from around 100 AD to 1300 AD, constructing remarkable communities that revealed their ingenuity and resilience. However, this prosperity attracted not just admiration, but envy and aggression from rival groups. The archaeological remains of places like Mesa Verde and Canyon de Chelly whisper of encounters steeped in tension, revealing a narrative fraught with struggle. As the Anasazi established trade networks stretching across vast distances, their influence began to extend beyond their immediate territory. The flow of goods, turquoise from the west, macaw feathers from southern lands, and agricultural produce, created a booming economy that drew attention. Among those watching from the shadows were the Navajo and the Ute, tribes whose own stories were interwoven with the Anasazis. Evidence suggests that skirmishes erupted over resources, particularly water and arable land, which were as precious as gold in this unforgiving landscape. Archaeological sites, such as the ruins at Hovenweep, reveal defensive structures that hint at a time of unrest. High walls and watchtowers stand testament to the preparation for possible invasions. Scholars have unearthed arrowheads and remnants of battle within these walls, suggesting that the Anasazi were not merely passive architects of their fate, but rather warriors, defending their homes against encroaching adversaries. One particularly gripping tale revolves around the infamous raid by a group known as the Puebloan, whose own survival depended on the resources of the Anasazi. Historical accounts, albeit fragmented, speak of nighttime incursions where the shadows lengthened into figures of both fear and awe, cloaked in the mystery of ancient rites. The Puebloan, with their own rich tapestry of culture, sought to claim land that had long been sacred to the Anasazi, leading to clashes that would reverberate through the ages. The Anasazi's ability to adapt to conflict is evident in their architectural choices. The multi-storied dwellings of Cliff Palace in Mesa, Verde were not merely homes, but fortified sanctuaries, designed with narrow entryways and high vantage points. These layouts suggest a society on alert, prepared for the inevitable confrontations with rival groups. In these very cliffs, where sunlight kissed the stone at dawn, families would have huddled, sharing stories of ancestors and gathering strength in the face of adversity. As droughts gripped the region, exacerbating the competition for dwindling resources, tensions escalated further. The Great Drought, which struck around 1276 AD, intensified the struggle for sustenance. It is said that desperation breeds conflict, and in this parched land it was no different. The Anasazi, once flourishing in their agrarian pursuits, faced increased aggression as neighboring tribes sought to claim what they could not grow. Famine gnawed at the hearts of many, leading to deeper rifts between once friendly tribes. Yet the Anasazi were not solely defined by conflict. There exists a complex interplay of cooperation and competition. Trade agreements, intermarriage, and shared rituals with neighboring tribes painted a fuller picture of their relationships. The arrival of the Hopi, for example, introduced new agricultural techniques and spiritual beliefs. In this dance of diplomacy and discord, the Anasazi forged a legacy that would transcend mere survival. As the sun set behind the mesas, painting the sky in hues of crimson and gold, the Anasazi would gather, their fires flickering like the stars above. They shared tales of their ancestors, of the struggles against rival tribes, and the bonds that sometimes flourished amid turmoil. These stories, woven into the fabric of their culture, served a dual purpose, reminders of the past and lessons for the future. In the end, as the Anasazi vanished from the landscape, the echoes of their conflicts lingered in the canyon winds. What caused their ultimate departure remains an enigma, a puzzle shaped by drought, warfare, and perhaps an insatiable quest for peace. As modern scholars sift through the sands of time, the tales of these ancient warriors remind us that even in the face of adversity, there is beauty in resilience, and a story yet to be fully told. In the vast expanse of the Four Corners region, beneath a sun that blazed fiercely in an azure sky, the Anasazi people gazed upward, their minds intertwined with the celestial tapestry above. The brilliant constellations painted across the heavens were not mere dots of light to them. They were messengers, guiding spirits, and the very essence of their cosmology. As the sun dipped below the jagged mesas, casting long shadows that danced among the cliff dwellings, the Anasazi whispered ancient prayers, invoking the power of the universe, seeking answers from the stars. The Anasazi, known for their architectural prowess and intricate pottery, were equally skilled in the art of astronomy. Their profound connection to the cosmos is etched into the stones of their great houses and pueblos, revealing a society that understood the rhythms of nature and the celestial bodies that governed their lives. At sites like Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde, evidence abounds of their astronomical observations. The sun and moon dictated their agricultural cycles, while the stars illuminated their spiritual paths. Consider Chaco Canyon, a monumental center of Anasazi culture, where the lines of the horizon align with the sun's rise and fall. The great house of Pueblo Bonito stands as a testament to their architectural ingenuity, its structures meticulously designed to mirror celestial events. During the summer solstice, sunlight floods through the narrow windows, illuminating the heart of this great structure, a celebration of light and life that echoed their reverence for solar deities. Conversely, during the winter solstice, the sun slips into darkness, an event that would have prompted both reflection and ritual among the inhabitants. But it is the lunar cycles that perhaps held the greatest significance for the Anasazi. The moon governed the tides of their rivers and the cycles of their crops. They meticulously tracked its phases, crafting calendars that guided their agricultural practices. Archaeologists have uncovered evidence of a celestial observatory at Vajada Butte, where the shadows of stone markers aligned with the rising sun and moon, casting light onto a petroglyph that depicted the passing of time. Here, one can almost hear the whispers of the ancients as they gathered to witness the cosmic dance, their hearts beating in sync with the universe. Yet, the Anasazi were not merely passive observers of the cosmos. Their worldview was a rich tapestry woven with threads of mythology and spirituality. In their narratives, stars were not just distant suns, they were ancestors, watchers of the earth, and guardians of their people. The constellation known as the Great Serpent, for example, was a powerful symbol of fertility and transformation, its mythos embedded deeply in their rituals. This celestial serpent slithered across the night sky, drawing connections between the earthly realm and the divine, guiding the Anasazi through the trials of existence. As the Anasazi thrived, their understanding of the cosmos became increasingly intricate. They developed a complex system of astronomy that integrated their agricultural cycles, spiritual beliefs, and social structures. In the heart of their great houses, kivas served as ceremonial spaces where the community would gather to celebrate celestial events. Here, under the earthen roofs that echoed with the sounds of reverence, they would enact rituals that honored the sun, moon, and stars, binding their fates to the cosmos. But with great knowledge comes great uncertainty. As the climate shifted, droughts stretching longer and rainfall becoming a scarce commodity, the Anasazi faced challenges that threatened their very existence. The celestial patterns they had relied upon for centuries began to shift, and their once reliable agricultural cycles faltered. The very stars that had guided them now seemed to mock their plight. As the drought deepened, the once thriving Pueblos fell silent, their dwellings echoing with the absence of life. The mystery of their disappearance is enshrined in this cosmic connection, a tale of a people who reached for the stars even as they struggled against the earth. Did the Anasazi's celestial beliefs drive them to seek solace in the heavens, leading them to abandon their homes in search of a more favorable land? Or did they find themselves caught in a cosmic web that they could no longer untangle, their spiritual and earthly lives torn apart by an unforgiving climate? In contemporary scholarship, the Anasazi remain an enigma, their legacy preserved in the ruins they left behind. The stories of their celestial observations continue to inspire, inviting us to ponder the relationship between humanity and the universe. As we gaze upward, we are reminded of the Anasazi, who once did the same, seeking meaning in the stars and forging a connection that transcended mere survival. They vanished into the folds of time, yet their whispers linger, echoing through the canyons, inviting us to unravel the mysteries of a people who danced with the cosmos. In the heart of the arid landscape known as the Four Corners region, where the sun casts long shadows over ancient stone structures, a haunting enigma unfolds, the disappearance of the Anasazi, a people whose presence once flourished like the desert wildflowers after a rare rain. Their remarkable architectural feats in places like Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde now stand as silent witnesses to a vibrant civilization that vanished, leaving behind whispers of their existence in the rock and earth. Archaeological evidence reveals that the Anasazi, or Ancient Ones, began to thrive in the Four Corners around 100 AD, evolving from nomadic hunter-gatherers into a sophisticated society. They constructed intricate dwellings, some multi-storied, and harmonized their lives with the celestial rhythms visible in the desert sky. But by the late 13th century, these once bustling communities began to dwindle, leading to a question that has haunted historians and archaeologists alike. Why did they leave, and where did they go? The timeline of abandonment is a mosaic of uncertainty. As early as 1150 AD, evidence of shifting patterns emerges. Ceramics that once celebrated the Anasazi's artistry becomes scarce, and the great kivas, once vibrant with rituals, stand empty and silent. It is here that we find ourselves delving deeper into the mystery. Notably, the ruins of Chaco Canyon, once a thriving hub of trade and culture, began to show signs of decline. The great roads that stretched from this ceremonial center to distant lands became overgrown, as if the very earth was reclaiming its territory from those who had built it. Current archaeological findings, led by experts such as Dr. Stephen H. Lexon, suggest that the Anasazi's decline may have been precipitated by an amalgamation of factors: drought, resource depletion, and perhaps even social strife. The Great Drought, which began around 1276 and lasted for more than 2 decades, is often cited as a catalyst for this gradual exodus. As the rivers ran dry and the crops withered, the very sustenance that had once nurtured their society vanished, leading to desperation and migration. Interestingly, the climate data extracted from tree rings offers a chilling narrative. The rings tell tales of harsh conditions, revealing years of scant rainfall that would have made agricultural practices unsustainable. This environmental crisis likely forced the Anasazi to seek refuge in areas where resources remained, a tragic irony, as they had once shaped the land to sustain their people. Some archaeologists speculate that this shift led to movements toward the more hospitable regions of present-day Arizona and New Mexico, yet the exact routes and fates of those who left remain unclear, like shadows on a moonlit night. As we weave through this tapestry of speculation, we come across the mention of conflict. Encounters with neighboring tribes, such as the Hopi and Zuni, may have exacerbated the tensions during these tumultuous times. The Anasazi were not alone in their struggles. Surrounding tribes faced similar environmental challenges. The archaeological record hints at increased warfare, evidenced by fortifications and weaponry found in places like Mesa, Verde. Here we find remnants of a society that, faced with scarcity and strife, perhaps turned against its neighbors, leading to an unraveling of the very fabric that had once united them. Yet the question remains, did the Anasazi disperse peacefully, or was their departure marked by desperation and conflict? The silence of the ruins offers few answers, compelling us to look to the oral traditions of modern indigenous peoples for clues. The Hopi, for instance, speak of their ancestors who once lived in the land of the Anasazi, claiming continuity through stories passed down through generations. These narratives hint at a migration, a return to the earth and the sky, suggesting that perhaps the Anasazi did not vanish entirely but transformed, adapting to new realities. As we conclude this chapter in our quest for understanding, we are left with more questions than answers. The Anasazi's disappearance is a haunting reminder of the fragility of human civilization, echoing through the canyons and mesas that once echoed with laughter and life. Their legacy, though shrouded in mystery, continues to inspire awe and curiosity, inviting us to ponder the interconnectedness of environment, society, and the indomitable human spirit that seeks to endure, even amidst the harshest of realities. In the heart of the Four Corners region, a breathtaking panorama unfolds. The undulating cliffs, the deeply carved canyons, and the enigmatic dwellings nestled in sheer rock faces. Here lies the Mesa Verde National Park, a cradle of ancient secrets where time seems to stand still. It is within this sacred landscape that the Anasazi, a people shrouded in mystery, built their remarkable cliff dwellings, leaving behind not just structures of stone, but an enigmatic legacy that has drawn archaeologists and historians alike into a web of intrigue. As the sun dipped below the horizon one fateful evening in 1888, a local rancher named Richard Wetherill stumbled upon a treasure that would encapsulate the very essence of the Anasazi, i.e.'s existence. On a quest for lost sheep, he found himself before the towering cliffs of Cliff Palace, a monumental site that would soon reveal its hidden wonders to the world. What lay before him was a time capsule, perfectly preserved for centuries, intricately woven baskets, beautifully crafted pottery, and the remnants of ancient rituals that echoed the pulse of a vibrant civilization. It was a portal to the past, inviting him and us into the lives of those who once walked the same paths. The archaeological discoveries that followed Wetherill's find were nothing short of extraordinary. Cliff Palace, with its 150 rooms and 23 kivas, stood as an architectural marvel, but it was not alone. Across the vast expanse of Mesa Verde, sites like Spruce Tree House and Balcony House emerged from obscurity, revealing a complex society that thrived in harmony with the natural world. The cliff dwellings themselves, ingeniously constructed with adobe and sandstone, offered not only shelter but a strategic advantage against the challenges they faced, be it harsh weather or potential conflicts with neighboring tribes. Yet the treasures unearthed were not solely material. The artifacts discovered within these ancient tombs speak volumes about the Anasazi's beliefs and their connection to the cosmos. Pottery shards, often adorned with intricate designs, tell a story of artistry and social identity, while ceremonial items such as the vibrant red ochre and the delicate remnants of ritualistic offerings evoke a sense of spirituality that transcends time. Through the lens of archaeology, we glimpse the profound relationship the Anasazi had with their environment, reverberating with tales of fertility, harvest, and the ever-watchful spirits of the earth. Among the most remarkable finds were the mummified remains of the Anasazi themselves, discovered in the shadowy recesses of the cliff dwellings. These tombs, burials often situated under the floors of kivas, offered a haunting insight into their funerary practices. The deceased were laid to rest with great reverence, accompanied by a trove of items meant for the afterlife: tools, food, and ceremonial objects intricately woven into the fabric of their existence. Such discoveries not only fueled the imaginations of archaeologists, but also raised poignant questions about life, death, and the continuum of existence in a world that has long forgotten the Anasazi's stories. One name stands out amidst the archaeological pantheon: Dr. Jesse Walter Fuchs, a pioneering archaeologist of the early 20th century. Fuchs, entranced by the beauty and mystery of Mesa Verde, conducted extensive excavations that brought to light the rich tapestry of Anasazi culture. His work not only shed light on the architectural prowess of the cliff dwellers, but also revitalized interest in preserving these ancient sites. Under his stewardship, the protection of these historical treasures became paramount, ensuring that future generations might bask in their enigmatic splendor. Yet, even as we piece together the puzzle of the Anasazi's existence, their disappearance remains a haunting specter. The treasures of Mesa Verde, while illuminating, also underscore the profound absence left by a people who vanished into the annals of history. Was it drought, conflict, or a deep-seated spiritual calling that led them away from their sacred homes? The answers elude us, still cloaked in the whispers of the wind that dances across the cliffs. Today, the tombs and treasures of Mesa Verde continue to captivate the imagination, inviting us to ponder the complexities of a civilization that flourished against all odds. As we traverse the rugged trails of this ancient landscape, we become part of an ongoing narrative, a dialogue between the past and present, forever enchanted by the mysteries left behind. In every shard of pottery, every weathered stone, and every echo of the wind, the Anasazi live on, their secrets shimmering just beyond our grasp, waiting patiently for those brave enough to seek them. In the heart of the arid Four Corners region, where the sun sets like a molten coin into the horizon, the stories of the Anasazi whisper through the canyons and mesas. Among these tales, one thread stands out, woven intricately into the fabric of their society: the invaluable role of women, the matriarchs who guided their communities with wisdom, strength, and resilience. Archaeological evidence suggests that Anasazi society flourished in a complex web of familial and social structures, with women often at the center. Unlike many contemporary cultures, the Anasazi women wielded significant influence, their roles extending far beyond the domestic sphere. In the majestic cliff dwellings of Mesa, Verde, and the grand kivas of Chaco Canyon, the echoes of their leadership resonate, hinting at a society that revered female authority. As we delve into the archaeological remnants left behind, we discover artifacts that speak volumes of women's contributions. Pottery shards, unearthed at sites like Pottery Mound and Quetzal, display elaborate designs, indicating that women were not just creators of utilitarian items, but artists and storytellers, preserving their culture through vibrant illustrations. The emergence of this pottery style, which often depicted intricate scenes of daily life and mythology, suggests that women were also responsible for passing down ancestral knowledge, each vessel a vessel of history. The construction of the great houses, monumental architectural achievements that dotted the landscape, further illustrates the indispensable role of women. In these communal living spaces, it is believed that matriarchs orchestrated the gathering of resources and labor, ensuring that the needs of the extended family and community were met. The very layout of these structures, with their emphasis on shared spaces, hints at a society that valued cooperation and collective responsibility, a principle likely championed by the women who held the keys to their clans. Yet the Anasazi's societal constructs were not merely functional. They were enshrined in spiritual beliefs that revered femininity. The Earth Mother, a vital figure in Anasazi cosmology, symbolizes fertility, sustenance, and the cyclical nature of life. This archetype reflects how women were viewed not just as nurturers, but as essential bearers of continuity and balance within their communities. Rituals and ceremonies, often presided over by women, reinforce this connection, interlinking the sacred with the mundane. The legends that have survived tell of their strength. One such tale speaks of a woman named Takak, a matriarch who, during a period of drought, led her people to adapt and innovate. With her deep knowledge of the land, she taught them to cultivate resilient crops in less hospitable soil, a practice that not only sustained her community but also reinforced her status as a leader. Takak's story, like many others, has been passed down through generations, a testament to the powerful legacy of women in Anasazi society. However, as we unearth the past, we also confront the enigma of their disappearance. The decline of the Anasazi around the late 13th century raises questions about the resilience of this matriarchal structure. Was the social cohesion that women had fostered strong enough to withstand the calamities that beset them, climate change, resource depletion, and possibly conflict? Or did the shifting dynamics of power lead to a fracturing of community bonds? Archaeological sites such as the enigmatic ruins of Chaco Canyon reveal that this once thriving center saw a decline that coincided with environmental stresses. The abandonment of these great houses, where matriarchs once held sway, remains a haunting reminder of fragility amid strength. The once vibrant community that thrived under the guidance of women faced a transformation that seems to have left no clear path to survival. Today, as we reflect on the legacy of the Anasazi, the stories of their matriarchs echo with a mystique that transcends time. Women like Takak serve not only as historical figures, but as symbols of resilience and adaptability. The artifacts they left behind, from intricately designed pottery to the very structures in which they lived, offer a glimpse into a society that revered the feminine spirit. In this realm of mystery and wonder, we find ourselves drawn to the question of how these legacies influence contemporary indigenous cultures. The reverence for women as caretakers of tradition, knowledge, and community continues to resonate, reminding us that the influence of the matriarchs of the Anasazi is not merely a whisper of the past, but a living force that shapes identities and narratives even today. As we journey through the shadows of history, the matriarchs of the Anasazi beckon us, their stories entwined with the very essence of the land they once called home. In the arid embrace of the Four Corners region, where the sun-kissed mesas and rugged canyons whisper tales of ages long past, the spirits of the Anasazi linger still. Their legacy, although shrouded in mystery, has woven itself into the very fabric of contemporary Native American cultures, echoing through time like the haunting notes of a forgotten flute. As the last of the Anasazi vanished from their cliff dwellings and vast pueblos, a question hung in the air, like the dust that danced in the light of the setting sun. Where did they go? While historians have debated their fate, the answers often lie not solely in the ruins they left behind, but in the living cultures that have emerged in their wake. The descendants of those who once thrived in the shadow of the great sandstone cliffs carry forth the stories, rituals, and wisdom of their ancestors, their spirits returning to guide and inspire. Amongst the Hopi, Zuni, and other Pueblo peoples, a profound reverence for the Anasazi manifests in their art, agriculture, and spiritual practices. The intricate pottery that adorns modern homes is not merely ornamental. It serves as a vessel of ancestral memory, often reflecting the styles of the Anasazi. The swirling motifs and symbolic representations of nature found on these vessels speak to a continuity of cultural expression, much like the old songs that still echo in the canyons. The famed Zuni artist C.G. Naha once remarked, "We do not create art, we become it, and through it, we honor those who came before." Yet the most poignant influences are felt during the ceremonial seasons. The Kachina dances, vibrant and alive with the spirit of the earth, draw directly from Anasazi customs. As masked dancers whirl and leap, they embody the spirits of their ancestors, calling forth the rain and fertility of the lands once tended by the Anasazi. Anthropology has shown that such rituals are not mere relics of the past. They are living expressions of identity, resilience, and connection to the land. During these ceremonies, one can almost hear the whispers of the Anasazi, urging their descendants to remember, to honor, and to carry forth their legacy. Archaeologists have unearthed significant evidence that suggests the Anasazi were not simply lost to time, but transformed. In the 1970s, Dr. Leslie Spear, a prominent anthropologist, highlighted the agricultural practices of the Anasazi, which have been foundational to modern Pueblo farming. The cultivation of maize, beans, and squash, the three sisters, can be traced back to these ancient peoples. Today, community gardens and cooperative farming efforts echo the spirit of the Anasazi, as modern Pueblo farmers nurture the soil with techniques that have been handed down through generations. This agricultural lineage not only sustains their communities, but also renews a bond with the land that is as old as the canyons themselves. Additionally, the architectural prowess of the Anasazi continues to inspire contemporary Native American architects. Structures that mimic the multi-story dwellings of Cliff Palace in Mesa, Verde, or the intricate layouts of Chaco Canyon are rising anew. Such designs symbolize a deep respect for ancestral knowledge and an enduring connection to cultural heritage. The work of architect David A. Weitzman reveals how modern interpretations of Anasazi architecture can serve as a bridge, linking past ingenuity with present and future aspirations. In our design, he notes, we honor the earth and sky as our ancestors did, creating spaces that speak to the spirit of community. Yet, despite these vibrant connections, the shadow of the Anasazi's mysterious disappearance looms large. The very forces that led to their decline, the droughts, the resource depletion, the social upheaval, are echoed in the challenges faced by modern native communities. Climate change, land disputes, and cultural erosion threaten the survival of their traditions. But within these struggles lies a resilience that harkens back to the Anasazi themselves. The Anasazi's disappearance has evolved from a mere historical puzzle to a profound metaphor for survival and adaptation in the modern world. The very spirit of the Anasazi returns not as a ghost trapped in the ruins, but as a source of strength and inspiration. Their teachings resonate in community gatherings, in the vibrant colors of contemporary art, and in the sacred rhythms of the earth that still pulse beneath the feet of their descendants. In the heartbeat of the four corners, where the past and present intertwine like the strands of a woven basket, the spirits of the Anasazi endure. They remind us that while the echoes of their civilization may dim, the essence of their existence continues to thrive, vibrant and unyielding, as long as their stories are told and their lessons embraced. And so, the mystery of the Anasazi is not a story of loss, but a celebration of continuity, a testament to the indomitable human spirit that adapts, survives, and ultimately flourishes. In the rugged embrace of the Four Corners region, where the sun casts long shadows on ancient stone, archaeology whispers the secrets of a vanished people, secrets that echo through the canyons and mesas, waiting to be deciphered. The Anasazi, whose name means ancient ones in Navajo, have left behind a puzzle that tantalizes scholars and dreamers alike. Their disappearance remains one of the great enigmas of North American history, a mystery that has captivated researchers for generations. It is through the diligent work of archaeologists that we attempt to piece together the fragments of a narrative lost to time. The first whispers of Anasazi society emerged from the dust of Chaco Canyon, a monumental site that served as a hub of culture and commerce. Here, in the 10th century, the monumental architecture of the great houses stood as testaments to their ingenuity. Structures such as Pueblo Bonito, with its multi-storied buildings and sprawling layout, are not merely remnants of a civilization. They are messages from the past, crafted in stone and adobe. Archaeologists like Dr. Stephen H. Lexon have dedicated their lives to unearthing these messages, revealing complexities that suggest an advanced society with a rich social structure and a deep connection to the cosmos. Yet, as the Anasazi thrived in their architectural marvels, the land began to shift beneath them. The great drought of the late 13th century swept across the southwest, a merciless specter that turned fertile fields to barren plains. As scientists study ancient tree rings and sediment cores, it becomes clear that this period marked a turning point, an environmental catastrophe that may have heralded the decline of the Anasazi. Archaeologists, through careful excavation of sites like Mesa Verde, have uncovered evidence of struggle, abandoned dwellings, charred remains of crops, and skeletal remains that hint at malnutrition and strife. The crumbling walls of Mesa Verde tell a story of resilience as well as despair. Artifacts unearthed from the site, intricately woven baskets, striking pottery and tools, speak to a culture that cherished artistry amidst adversity. Yet the question lingers, did these treasures provide solace in the face of inevitable change, or did they serve as reminders of what was being lost? The art itself became a silent witness to the Anasazi's declining fortunes, a reflection of a society caught in the throes of transformation. As scholars sift through layers of history, they also contend with the possibility of conflict. Evidence from archaeological digs reveals that the Anasazi may have faced pressures not only from the environment, but also from neighboring tribes. Sites like the ruins of Hovenweep suggest a once thriving community that fell victim to external strife. Bones and broken artifacts tell tales of skirmishes and the desperate cries of a people struggling to hold onto their land and identity. Yet the full narrative remains obscured, leaving scholars to ponder: were the Anasazi victims of circumstance, or did they engage in a broader struggle for survival? The mystery deepens as we consider the role of migration. Did the Anasazi vanish, or did they adapt and disperse? Archaeological findings show a gradual decline in population density, but what of those who chose to leave? Dr. David Wilcox, an influential archaeologist, posits that some Anasazi may have migrated southward, merging with other tribes and preserving their culture in new forms. This notion challenges the idea of a singular disappearance. Rather, it suggests a transformation, a shifting of identities that melded the past with the present. In the heart of the Four Corners, the ruins resonate with echoes of laughter, struggle, and reverence for the earth. The work of archaeology, while it uncovers the tangible remnants of the Anasazi, also grapples with the intangible, the stories that remain unrecorded, the voices that have long faded. In this dance between the past and present, scholars like Dr. J. McCarthy have begun to engage with Native American oral histories, weaving a tapestry of understanding that connects ancient narratives with contemporary experiences. As we stand upon the stones of Chaco and Mesa Verde, we are reminded that the past is never truly lost. It transforms, influences, and inspires. The Anasazi may have left this land, but their legacy thrives in the winds that swirl around the cliffs and the stories that linger in the hearts of their descendants. Through the lens of archaeology, we are not merely spectators of their disappearance. We are participants in a journey to honor their memory, to uncover their truths, and to keep their echoes alive in the ever-unfolding saga of humanity. In the whispering winds that sweep across the arid expanse of the Four Corners region, stories linger like the dust motes that dance in the sun's golden rays. The Anasazi, a people whose very name means ancient ones in the Navajo language, have left behind not just remnants of their architectural prowess, but also a rich tapestry of oral histories and myths. These stories, passed down through generations, are the echoes of a civilization that flourished and then vanished, leaving behind an enigma that continues to beckon seekers of knowledge to the ancient cliff dwellings and pueblos scattered across this majestic landscape. At the heart of the Anasazi legacy is the tale of Spider-Woman, a revered figure within their belief system. She is said to have woven the web of life, teaching the Anasazi people the art of weaving not only textiles, but also the very fabric of community and spirituality. In the crevices of Canyon de Chelly, where the towering sandstone walls cradle ancient dwellings, one can almost hear her voice guiding the people to harmony with the earth. The spider's web symbolizes connections between the past and the present, between the Anasazi and their ancestors, threading through the fabric of their existence. It is within these narratives that the Anasazi's relationship with their environment is illustrated, a profound understanding that the earth is both a giver and a taker, capable of nurturing life and invoking hardship. Oral traditions have a remarkable way of preserving history in a world where the sands of time threaten to bury the truth. The Pueblos of today, descendants of the Anasazi, carry these stories in their hearts, recounting the legends of their ancestors around flickering fires. These tales speak of the changing seasons and the delicate balance required to live in harmony with a landscape that offers both abundance and scarcity. They whisper of a great migration, a journey that may have seen the Anasazi leave their great houses in Chaco Canyon and Mesa Verde, possibly spurred by drought, conflict, or a spiritual calling. As one listens, it becomes clear that the Anasazi did not merely vanish. They transformed, adapting to the intricate dance of survival. Among the archaeological treasures unearthed at sites like Cliff Palace in Mesa Verde and the Grand Ceremonial Center of Chaco Canyon, one finds evidence of ritualistic practices that inform these oral histories. The Great Kiva, a circular subterranean chamber found in many Anasazi sites, served not only as a place of worship but as a communal gathering space, a physical manifestation of the stories shared and the wisdom exchanged. Here, the elders would recount the saga of the people of the sun who fled the wrath of the sky, seeking refuge in the embrace of the mountains. These tales are imbued with lessons of resilience, echoing the Anasazi's ability to endure the trials of nature and conflict. The duality of the Anasazi's existence, both as builders of monumental structures and seekers of spiritual depth, is reflected in their myths. The story of the emergence from the underworld, where they believed their ancestors came from a realm beneath the earth, speaks to a profound connection to their origins and the cyclical nature of life. This narrative not only captures the imagination, but serves as an enduring reminder of the interconnectedness of all beings. The Anasazi were not merely subjects of history, they were participants in an ongoing saga, their spirits woven into the very land they inhabited. Yet, as the sun sets behind the mesas, casting long shadows over the ruins, questions about the Anasazi's ultimate fate linger in the cool evening air. The oral histories, while rich in metaphor and meaning, offer little definitive explanation for their abrupt disappearance. Did they migrate southward, merging with other tribes, or did they succumb to the harsh realities of their environment? The tales suggest that perhaps the spirits of the land guided them to a new existence, one where they could thrive amidst the changing world. As modern archaeologists sift through the remnants of the past, piecing together the fragments of Anasazi life, it becomes evident that the legacy of the ancestors is not confined to ancient stones and forgotten paths. It pulsates in the stories told by the descendants, the living embodiment of a culture that, though transformed, still breathes through the narratives that capture its essence. In this way, the Anasazi continue to exist, their mysteries interwoven with the land, whispering to those who dare to listen, inviting us to explore the depths of human experience and the bonds that transcend time. In the shadowy folds of time, the Anasazi civilization remains an enigmatic specter, haunting the valleys and cliffs of the Four Corners region. Their sudden disappearance from the arid landscapes they once thrived in has ignited the flames of curiosity and speculation among historians, archaeologists, and even the artists of today. As we traverse the corridors of contemporary imagination and scholarship, it becomes evident that the Anasazi are not merely relics of the past. They are living echoes, shaping narratives in ways both profound and perplexing. The story begins anew each day as modern scholars sift through the remnants of Anasazi life, intricate pottery, well-preserved ruins, and the magnificent cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde. Here, archaeologists like Dr. Stephen H. Lexon have ventured deep into the heart of this mystery, proposing that the Anasazi were not a singular people, but part of a tangled web of cultures across the Southwest. Lexon's theories challenge the traditional narratives that often portray the Anasazi as a monolithic group, suggesting instead that they were part of a broader societal tapestry, interconnected with other Native American tribes, such as the Hopi and Zuni. His work invites us to re-examine the conventional timelines and migration patterns, offering a more nuanced understanding of their fate. But what of the disappearance itself? This question continues to ignite the imagination. Scholars like Dr. David E. Stewart have suggested environmental factors played a decisive role, pointing to the severe droughts that plagued the region in the late 13th century. Evidence from tree rings indicates arid years that would have devastated agriculture-based societies. As drought swept through their lands, the Anasazi may have faced not just the loss of crops, but of community cohesion and cultural identity. The idea that climate could sever the very roots of civilization is a potent narrative, one that reverberates through contemporary discussions on climate change and sustainability. Yet, as we sift through the sands of time, we encounter other interpretations that diverge sharply from environmental determinism. The notion of conflict with neighboring tribes, highlighted in the excavations of sites like Chaco Canyon, raises questions about the Anasazi's social dynamics. Researchers have found signs of warfare, leading to theories that suggest their migration might have been a tactical retreat from aggression rather than a mere response to environmental pressures. This interpretation adds layers of intrigue, painting the Anasazi as complex actors negotiating their place within a volatile landscape filled with competition and conflict. In the realms of fiction and popular culture, the Anasazi's mystique has flourished, morphing into tales that blend history with imagination. The storied ghost towns and ancient ruins have inspired countless novels, films, and artworks, each interpretation adding strokes to the canvas of their legacy. Authors like Tony Hillerman have woven the Anasazi into their narratives, blending the spiritual with the historical, drawing on the rich tapestry of Native American folklore that persists today. Through the lens of fiction, the Anasazi are not merely vanished. They are transformed into symbols of resilience and mystery, their stories echoing in the heartbeats of modern native cultures. Art, too, serves as a vessel carrying the Anasazi legacy forward. Contemporary native artists, inspired by ancestral traditions, create works that reflect the haunting beauty of Anasazi pottery and architecture. These artists evoke the past while simultaneously forging a new cultural identity that honors their heritage. The museum exhibits that display ancient artifacts alongside modern interpretations reveal an ongoing dialogue between past and present, a bridge that keeps the spirit of the Anasazi alive. As the sun sets over the mesas, casting long shadows upon the adobe ruins, we find ourselves at the intersection of history and mythology, where the Anasazi linger not just in archaeological records, but in the collective consciousness. The question of their disappearance remains an enduring mystery, inviting speculation and wonder. With every new discovery, we peel back layers of time, but the essence of the Anasazi eludes a definitive explanation. Perhaps it is in this very elusiveness that their true legacy lies, a testament to the complexities of human existence in the face of nature, conflict, and the inexorable passage of time. Thus, the Anasazi continue to inspire, challenge, and enchant, their story etched into the stones of the four corners, whispering to those willing to listen. In our quest for understanding, we are reminded that history is not merely a linear path, but a mosaic of narratives, each piece reflecting the light of human experience and the enduring mystery of those who came before us.